Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, new details and a neighbor's video have emerged in the FBI shooting of Craig Robertson. Robertson, you guys will recall, he's the Trump supporter who lived in Utah. He made numerous violent, graphic threats and statements about various political figures, all Democrats, of course. He also allegedly talked of assassinating President Joe Biden when he was visiting Robertson's state last week. So the FBI had a warrant for his arrest. They had a warrant to search his home. And now we know from new reporting and a video that they argued with Robertson for quite some time, and he refused to come out of his house with his hands up as they were directing him to. He also apparently had a weapon. One neighbor who spoke with the Associated Press said that they heard a short burst of gunfire, and then they heard the FBI yelling, quote, "He has a gun." So that all occurred shortly before Robertson was shot and killed. So it would appear that he fired bullets outside at the FBI agents, and then they fired back. That has to be confirmed. It could be that the FBI fired on him and then they said he had a gun and then they shot and killed him. We'll see what happens. But a video, like I said, has emerged of this incident. I can't play it for you guys because this entire show, my entire segment, will be demonetized because there's copyright issues that we deal with. Typically, when it's a news clip, they don't hit you with anything. It's not an issue. But when it's an individual who recorded it and then they have sold it to a news outlet or they put it on their own channels, they sometimes will come after you. And then I will make not a dime off of this video in advertising. And unfortunately, that is still about like the majority of the way I get paid right now. So bigger channels can get away with it. They make a lot more money. But, you know, when I'm working on slave wages here, I have to be careful. So I will put a link to that article that has the video in it. It will be in the description box on YouTube and on the podcast, so you guys can check it out for yourself. But in it, you can hear the FBI ordering Robertson repeatedly to come out with his hands up. And then he's heard repeatedly saying no. Now, if this was a black man or a brown man, the right would be applauding this, right? They'd be saying, well, why didn't he just comply? If he had only listened to the police, he'd still be alive. Yeah. And if the roles were reversed, and if it was a liberal posting graphic threats of violence against Trump or any of their other cult leaders, they would lose their minds. They would be calling for immediate action, violent consequences. They would be saying this was justified. Instead, because he was a white man, a white MAGA man, they're making him out to be a martyr. And they're claiming that he was shot and killed solely for his political beliefs. I mean, if that were the case, 30% of the country would be dead. Convicted felon and alleged child groomer, Ali Alexander, wrote on Telegram, quote, "FBI is now killing all online critics of Biden." That ridiculous lie was not a lone voice. That was followed up by numerous other MAGA clowns who made other similar false statements about Democrats wanting Trump supporters dead. Also, the Biden administration trying to send a message. And here's the thing. Here's their defense for why this man was so not a threat. They keep pointing out, oh, he was obese, he was immobile. They keep posting about how he used a cane to walk, he could barely get around. I mean, first of all, there's reports saying that he cared for his blind, disabled son. So clearly, he isn't as immobile and, weak and unable to get around as they're saying. But aren't they always the ones who are claiming that a gun is the great equalizer, right? Don't they always say, oh, that's why we need to arm women and children? They're the ones who are constantly pushing the narrative that when you have a gun, then you're safe. It doesn't matter if you're weaker, if you're smaller than the other person. And that's why everyone needs to be locked and loaded at all times. That's what they're always saying. But now they're saying, I guess, that Robertson's was weak, that he wasn't a threat, even with a gun in his hand. So then what's the purpose of a gun? Right? They really can't keep their bullshit justification straight. Anyway, his family is upset. I think we can all empathize with them and understand. But they also are making statements that are kind of ridiculous. They said that Robertson was, quote, understandably frustrated and distraught by our erosions to our constitutional protected freedoms and the rights of free citizens wrought by what he and many others in this nation observe to be a corrupt and overreaching government. So, God, who knew that they were liberals, right? I guess they must be talking about all of the rights and freedoms that the Supreme Court and the Republicans are taking away from women. Or maybe they're also talking about, how they're trying to ban drag queen events and limit drag queens their freedom of speech, their freedom of expression. Or maybe they're referring to the removal of protections for people of color and people of the LGBTQ community, plus all of the books that are being banned. No, that's not what they're talking about. Oh, okay. Then I really don't know what they're referring to, because I don't see anybody eroding rights for the right. All right, guys. Anyway, I will let you know when and if I hear more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please donate if you possibly can. Really helps. And when I get to a point where money is not an issue, I can play videos for you, and it won't matter if my videos are demonetized. So appreciate that. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.